The White Snake. Long ago, there lived a king whose fame spread throughout the land for his wisdom. Nothing was hidden from him, and it seemed as if the wind brought him the most secret news from everywhere. The king had a very strange habit. Every day at noon, after the table had been cleared and no one else remained in the room, a trusted servant would bring in a golden dish with a closed lid. Not even the servant knew what was inside, and no one else knew either, for the king never opened the dish until he was entirely alone. This continued for a long time until one day, the servant, overcome by curiosity, could no longer restrain himself. As he carried the dish away, he took it straight to his own room. After carefully locking the door, he lifted the lid and found a white snake lying inside. At the sight of it, his mouth watered, and unable to resist, he cut off a small piece and put it in his mouth to taste. As soon as his tongue touched it, he heard a strange twittering of voices at the window. He went to listen and realized that the sparrows were chatting together, telling each other what they had seen in the fields and forests. Because he had tasted the white snake, he could now understand the language of animals. On that very same day, the queen's most beautiful ring suddenly disappeared. Suspicion fell upon the trusted servant, as he was the only one allowed access to every corner of the palace. The king summoned him, and with harsh threats, declared that if he could not find the thief by the next morning, he would be judged as the culprit. It was useless to protest his innocence. He was dismissed in disgrace. Distraught and fearful, he wandered the courtyard, wondering how to escape his plight. He noticed a group of ducks resting by the pond, preening their feathers with their beaks and chatting comfortably. The servant stopped to listen. They were telling each other where they had waddled and what good food they had found. One duck, however, grumbled fretfully, "I feel so heavy in my stomach. In my haste under the queen's window, I swallowed a ring." The servant immediately grabbed the duck by its neck, took it to the kitchen and said to the cook, "Sir, please kill this one. It is quite fat." The cook weighed it in his hand and replied, "True, this greedy bird has waited long enough to be roasted." When the cook opened the duck, he found the queen's ring in its stomach. The servant was easily able to prove his innocence. To make amends for the injustice, the king offered the servant any favor he desired and promised him the highest position at court. Though he was young and handsome with a bright future, the servant declined everything. His heart was heavy, and he no longer wished to stay at the palace. He asked only for a horse and a little money to travel and see the world. His wish was granted, and he set out on his journey. One day, as he passed a pond, he saw 3 fish caught in the reeds, gasping for air. Although people say, as mute as a fish, he heard them wailing that they must die so miserably. Being kind-hearted, he dismounted and put the fish back into the water. The fish splashed with joy, poked their heads out of the water and called to him, "We will never forget your kindness. We will surely repay you." He rode on. After a while, it seemed he heard a voice in the sand beneath his feet. He listened and heard an ant king complaining, "If only humans and their clumsy animals would stay away from us. This stupid horse is about to trample my people without any mercy." The man immediately pulled the reins and led his horse onto a side path. The ant king called out, "We will never forget your kindness." Later, while passing through a forest, he saw 2 old ravens throwing their young out of the nest, shouting, "Out with you, you rascals! We can no longer feed you. You are big enough to fend for yourselves." The poor young ravens lay on the ground, flapping their weak wings and crying, "We are helpless children. We cannot fly, so how can we find food? We are left here to starve to death." The young man dismounted, drew his sword, and killed his horse to provide food for the young ravens. They hopped over, ate their fill, and chirped, "We will never forget your kindness." Now he had to travel on foot, After a long walk, he reached a bustling city. A crowd had gathered to hear a messenger on horseback announce that the princess was seeking a husband. Anyone who wished to marry her must complete a difficult task. If they failed, they would lose their lives. Many had already tried and perished. Captivated by the princess's extraordinary beauty, the young man forgot all danger and went before the king to offer himself as a suitor. He was led to the seashore, and in front of a great assembly, a golden ring was thrown into the depths. The king commanded him to bring the ring back from the bottom of the sea, adding, "If you return empty-handed, you shall be thrown back into the sea until the waves consume you." Everyone pitied the handsome youth and left him alone on the shore. As he stood there wondering what to do, he saw 3 fish swimming toward him, the very same ones he had saved. The middle fish held a mussel in its mouth and placed it on the beach at his feet. When he opened the shell, he found the golden ring. Overjoyed, he presented it to the king, hoping for his reward. However, the proud princess, seeing he was not of noble birth, refused him and demanded a second task. She went into the garden, scattered 10 bags of millet in the grass, and said, "By sunrise tomorrow, you must pick up every single grain. Not one must be missing,